Hey, good morning, guys. Look, I don't really have a pick. I have more of a find. We're now here inside the observatory, and we're joined by a special guest, one with strong New York City ties. You want to introduce yourself?
My name, ladies and gentlemen, is Jeff Goldblum, and I do have some ties to New York City. I love New York City.
Yeah, I love it too. I want to give people a big rundown of your resume, and then we're going to ask you some more questions about New York City. Yeah, here we go. Are you ready for this? See if you remember all these.
Okay.
He has starred, ladies and gentlemen, in popular Hollywood movies like Jurassic Park. You might remember him shirtless. The Fly, you might remember him shirtless. Independence Day, probably shirtless. No, you were a scientist in that one, maybe briefly for a little while. But it's right here in the Big Apple where he got his start. At 17 years old, Goldblum left his native Pittsburgh to study acting at New York's famed neighborhood playhouse. Famed before you got there or famed after?
Oh, no. Very famous before because of Sanford Meisner, principally. Do you ever hear of him? He's a great acting teacher, and he was teaching. He had taught there before, made it famous, and and then he was teaching when I was there.
And you helped make it more famous because soon after you had a Broadway debut in the Tony Award-winning musical Two Gentlemen of Verona.
Yes. Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not. I wasn't even sure if I was going to say it right.
It's a Shakespearean play.
Yeah.
It's Shakespeare. But we made a musical out of it. They made a musical out of it. It was a big hit. That was my first job.
First job?
Yeah.
How does acting in a Broadway play compare to, say, what you're doing now with The World According to Jeff Goldblum, new show where you're kind of doing what we're doing? Where you walk around, you look at stuff, you report on things.
A little bit. You do it so well.
No.
I sit at your feet. You're very masterful. I'm doing this show. I like this show. And how's it? Good question. How does it compare? Well, I don't know.
You're playing yourself in this, basically. You know?
Yes, I am. Just like you. Now, but yeah, it's fun. It's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
We did 12 of them. Already 3 have been streamed. Did you see any of them? There was one on sneakers.
Denim, ice cream,
Denim,
which I
think
love.
is coming out this Friday.
But I saw it early.
Did you see it?
Yeah. Did you know that Pittsburgh actually has fantastic ice cream? You growing up there?
Well, Isley's, yes, we reference it in the show. Have you ever been to Pittsburgh?
I have been to Pittsburgh, yeah.
There was a place called Isley's. What ice cream are you talking about?
There was a top 10 place like 15 years ago, and I made a special trip there, and it was terrific.
You did?
Yeah, that
was unbelievable. What
I
flavor did you get?
I don't remember. Probably chocolate chip cookie dough, I think is my favorite. What's the most interesting thing you've learned on your wanderings for this show, The World According to Jeff Goldblum?
So many interesting things. I'll tell you, we did a pools episode. You were telling me that you also were in a sensory deprivation tank. I also did, and for that episode we went to Raging Waters. I'd never been to a water park before, but we went to the NASA Neutral Buoyancy Lab in Houston, Texas, where they have the biggest pool anywhere. At the bottom is a replica of the International Space Station. I talked to a couple of astronaut trainees, women, spectacular women, who were at the end of their 2-year program, went for 6 hours in their spacesuits in order to simulate weightlessness, in order to do their work. I put on fins and snorkel and went in with them and da-da-da. But I talked to astronauts who had been up there. One of them told me a very interesting thing. Yeah. Listen to this. That everybody who's been up there for like 4 or 5 months, only men, not the women who have been up there, but the men come back with something wrong with their right eye. Not their left eye, but always their right eye, that it does something like that, and it's waving. Wow. And they have no idea what's going on with it. But anyway, we learned a lot of interesting stuff. Nat Geo is the producer, and they're very smart.
The world is full of mysteries. We've not plumbed the depths of this planet. We have much to do.
You said a mouthful.
I did, yeah. We should do a show together on mysteries. But actually, first, I want to ask you something. Here's a mystery for you. This is a big mystery. We did a poll. We walked around, we asked a bunch of Americans something. We said, what's your favorite kind of music? Only 7% of Americans surveyed by CBS News, 7% said jazz.
Well,
you
CBS,
play jazz. So what's your pitch?
CBS News. You can't argue with CBS News.
Well, this is what the people are saying, Jeff.
The people are saying. I have my ear to what the people are saying. I like that jazz music. I like it. And people who come to our shows seem to like it. And we play.
Oh, there's some. There it is. Yeah. Is that you?
That is me. Yeah, we play a kind of music that is a kind of 50s, 60s blue note for these 2 albums that we've now put out on Decca. The last one came out. It's called I Shouldn't Be Telling You This. And it's fun. It's like what jazz was originally in some quarters, fun and romantic and social music and dance music. But we have singers on this album like Fiona Apple and Miley Cyrus and Gregory Porter and Sharon Van Etten, and it's really fun.
I don't know if you were watching earlier, but we teased a little bit of a quiz we're going to do here. Since you know the world and the world according to you.
I love any kind of quizzes.
All right, here's a quiz question number 1. Are you ready?
Yeah, no.
I'm not really ready because I don't have it. I'm going to get it from memory, though. Okay, how long does it take to wash all 6,000 windows here on the Empire State Building? Is it 4 days, 4 weeks, or 4 months, or 4 years?
I would say all 6,000 windows.
6,000 plus windows.
May I ask this? How many people on the team, on the window washing team?
You know, I had the very same question, and I didn't get an answer, but I'm presuming about 2. I'm thinking 2.
2 guys to do 6,000 windows. I'd say not 4 days. What was the second one?
4 weeks, 4 months, 4 years?
Let's say 4 weeks. Let's say a month.
In fact, you are incorrect, sir.
4
It
days.
is 4 months.
4 months.
And when they get to the end, they just go right back to the beginning. Okay.
That's
question number 2.
Like
you know, shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. Question 2. Question 2. Is everyone ready? Okay. So this building here, where we are, is about 1,400 feet tall. How much does it weigh?
Oh, come on. You're asking the wrong guy, but let me guess. Multiple choice on this one, too? Or?
No. This is just take a shot at it, all right?
Okay. How much does this building weigh?
Yes. How much does it weigh?
I have the vaguest idea, but I would say, let's say, 30 tons. I have no idea.
30 tons? No, it is
2 tons.
365,000 tons. Tons.
What?
It blows my mind, too. It boggles the mind. It really does.
Holy
But while our minds boggle here, let's toss it back to Anthony and Gayle in the studio and see if
Anthony.
Why don't you do the toss? You can toss back.
I'll take Manhattan, the Bronx and Staten Island too.
Jeff Goldblum, what's your favorite New York song?
I was thinking about a bunch of them this morning. Though there was one from a Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin movie called that goes like this: Every street's a boulevard in old New York. I like that one.
Jeff Goldblum,
I like many of them.
Jeff Goldblum, we like you. You'll get a kick out of this. Last week when we were planning this show, Tony Dokoupil said, God, I'm so bummed that I'm going to miss Jeff Goldblum in the studio. I've always wanted to talk to him.
Exactly what I said.
That's exactly what he said. Then it turns out he gets you all to himself. So that was nice.
I miss you, and I miss you, Anthony, but I'm glad I talked to you. It's a great pleasure to talk to you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys.